Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is, well, these are even, because it's a bulk introduction, these are your full moon Gods at Play readings. Now I do the Gods at Play readings because full moons are about oppositions. They are moon opposition sun. They are also about illumination, about light being shed upon things. So they can be very much about revelation. I've made some notes about this particular full moon because let's face it, we've just come off the back of the peak of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, which is playing out in a very interesting way, both in the world and energetically, if you're sensitive to that sort of thing. Certainly I noticed a little something. Little probably being a very patronising and minimising word there. But anyway, moving on. This full moon in Libra is at 18 degrees of Libra, so that is a master degree. Very much about death and rebirth, but being Libra, it's also very much about balance. And the themes that seem to be coming out of the astrologers are the balance between personal freedom and submission to a higher power, whether that be God, the divine, or whether that be governments, corporations, the law, whatever. Balance between your personal life and your relationships, and it's a very relationship themed moon as well, and also balance within, basically with your shadow self. So there's a lot of potential for work for you to be doing with your own shadow side and letting a lot of things go. This full moon in Libra is very much a declaration to act, and you may find yourself doing a complete about face on some belief or another that you have held for a long time, where you suddenly go, you know what, it's not even that I used to be wrong, but now I'm going to do something completely different because what I did think doesn't apply anymore. And it may well be some form of illumination that brings this to the surface. Now, there isn't a question with this reading. We are looking at the energies that are in play. The top row, it takes a very Gnostic view of the gods, seeing them as archontic forces or energies that are pressing us down, that are trying to separate us from our higher purpose, our higher selves. The bottom row of cards will be those forces, gods or energies that are trying to lift us up, that are assisting us to reach towards our higher purpose, our higher self, ascension, if you're into that sort of thing. Now, there's a timestamp, like I said, down below. You can fast forward through all my blurb because you want to look at your sun sign, probably first, which everybody does, but your rising sign as well. And it's a full moon. Look at your moon sign. You can examine other areas of your chart as well. And I will say in the readings which house this is happening in for which rising sign. Anything else, any other details, they're in the description below. Please press like, it helps promote the video. Please subscribe, it helps the channel, and I am very grateful. And thank you so much for everybody who has subscribed so far. I think I've only said that in about one video, and I'm slowly approaching 400 videos already, but I'm still a young channel and every subscriber helps. There is a link to a Facebook group down there, so if you want to see maybe slightly more effective notifications than the YouTube notifications of when I release new videos, but also I post all the astrology videos that I am learning stuff from because they're good astrologers and they're well worth a watch, simple as that. And sometimes I post readings from other readers because they deserve the exposure and they're good readers. There is a lot of good readers. Quick plug, Divinely Feminine, Woke Therapist, Jamie Zebra 23, Queen Cup. That was the other one that I wanted to recommend, Queen Cup. I think that's everything. Oh, finally, if you don't know what your rising or moon sign are, there's a link down there. You can get a free birth chart by following that link. You just need to know your time and place of birth as well as your date. So, I think I've waffled enough. With no further ado, let me bring up the cards. And welcome Libra Moon, Libra Rising and other placements straight after the timestamp. And of course, if you are Libra Rising, this is happening in your first house. This is what people see in the impression that you give over. Now, we have some interesting God forces arranged both to uplift you and to suppress you this month. So what really draws my attention, well, I'll talk you through them first. We have Ul with focus, Sirens with temptation, Lilith with equality, Perseus with gifts, Athena with wisdom. We to uplift you, we have Anubis for protection, Artemis with individuation, Chang'e with obsession, Apollo, god of light, of course, Artemis's brother, and Persephone with awakening. I'll get to these two in a minute. So, what is striking me here is you are reading number 7. Ul's turned up at least twice, if not 3 times before already. He is the Norse god of marksman. He is all about keeping your focus on a specific target, but this is working to repress. So, is your focus scattered somewhat? If not, you're not the only one, because you're the 3rd or 4th sign that has your focus scattered. Or is it the fact that a lot of us are being distracted from something at the moment, which is quite understandable with everything that's going on. But it's almost like your focus is being pulled away because, and I need to tread carefully here, because this is what I'm getting from the card. Remember this top row, that's the Gnostic view of the gods, that they are creations of the archons and designed to suppress us. Masks of the archons, so to speak. The bottom row is more of a pagan view of the gods, that they are valid entities that can work with us and that we can work with them. I like the bottom row. But Lilith here, it's like you are being tempted to shift your focus, or your focus is being distracted by an urge to grab for something that you believe you deserve by right, that is yours by right. So I immediately think, are you going a bit stir crazy with the lockdown going on at the moment? Because Athene here with the wisdom card, again working behind you, I would say be careful of what wisdom you receive and just test it. There's so much rubbish out there at the moment. You look on Facebook, you look on the internet, you look on half the news channels on the planet. You know, there is so much rubbish and misinformation that's going on at the moment. So maybe I'm finding 2 things with this Athene card. 1, pick your battles. Most definitely pick your battles. She's not just a goddess of wisdom, she's a goddess of war. Unlike Aries, who is just war for war's sake, Athene was war for a just cause. War because it's the sensible thing to do, because all the other alternatives are even worse. But yeah, the Sirens pull there seems to be really, really strong. And I'm really drawn to the image, almost like it's the Sirens' true face behind them. Can you see that? I'll move it so you can see it better. So it's the Sirens' true face behind them, that great looming creature afterwards. But they're giving this illusion of everything being so nice and so perfect and so wonderful, that how could you resist? But if your focus is being drawn to whatever this offer is, this is what I might call the reading, if I remember, beware false offers, because somewhere along the line, your attention is being drawn after something that is not, I don't even say it's not yours for the taking. And I don't want to say it's not for you in a stern dictatorial way. It's just, you don't need it. There's no point. Why would you go for it anyway? And is it just that you are going for it because there is that sense of stir craziness? Now, on our side, while our focus is being pulled away, we are being protected. We have Anubis here, who I said on a previous reading weighs the heart against a feather. No, he doesn't. He takes the spirit to Ma'at, who then weighs the heart against a feather. But Anubis is a death god. So there is that element of transformation coming through. So maybe you will find that your focus, if you've been focusing on something, is suddenly pulled away and something else suddenly looks, ooh, now. I mean, I don't want to, I'm not saying that you're just going to go, ooh, shiny, and go from one shiny thing to another shiny thing. It's that you are being offered a shiny thing in this top row, but all of a sudden you are finding something that suits you that much more better. With Artemis here and individuation, bear in mind that both of these are hunter gods. Ul is the Norse god of marksmen. Artemis is the great huntress. So both quite nifty with a bow and arrow. But Artemis was, I don't know a great deal about Ul, but Artemis was, of course, very, very chaste. There was a certain purity in her actions, and she was also very much in favour of the natural world. She fought the hunter Orion, as in the constellation, because he was killing needlessly and just killing for sport rather than killing for food. There is illumination coming to you. You just have to resist whatever this siren call is. Resist the siren call. There's another title. Resist whatever this siren call is. Because we have Apollo here who is giving you, if you have a choice between things or knowledge, choose knowledge. Doesn't matter how much you think you need the things, choose the knowledge. So do you buy a new sofa or do you pay for a course online? Pay for a course online. If that's your dilemma, of course. Because straight after Apollo, we have here Persephone with awakening. Persephone, as she ascends from the underworld, so there's that ascension vibe going on here. She ascends from the underworld every spring, which is why we suddenly get sunshine and nice weather, even if it is playing havoc with my camera. And if you notice the mists that she's bringing with her, they are spirits and ghosts as she's ascending out of the underworld, but they are bringing knowledge, just as Apollo. He was the god of light, the god of illumination, whose priests had the motto, know thyself. So you have a choice for self-analysis, pretty definitely here if you are being taken on a journey where your heart is about to get weighed, but you are protected on this journey as long as you are not getting yourself distracted. And from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, we have Pahalia with redemption. So it's this bottom row implies part of the ascension process. It implies a spiritual awakening. It implies a discovering what is right for you to be doing right now. I'm not going to say what is right for you to be doing end of, but what is right for you to be doing right now, where your next step is, where your next obsession can be. And that obsession, certainly during these lockdown times, can keep you pure from this siren's temptation. It can help hold that intellectual chasteness. And I think that would be a wise thing to do, as we have, as the angel energy over all of this, the angel of wisdom. Wisdom comes from the depths of my experience, which makes me tempted to think, you've been lied to before and you know very well what it feels like. Why are you not noticing this time? So let's have a look at what the tarot say, because that's a lot from just those few cards. You've seen my shuffle video. I've already shuffled these once anyway and been doing it as we talk, so hopefully it hasn't sounded too much over the microphone. Right, let's have a look. With Ul, we have the Two of Wands, so something that you are making plans of, and you're reaching for the temptation because you're bored, and you believe that there is a harvest with the standing up and fighting for what is yours. You can have a wonderful clarity about this goal that you're aiming for. And it seems to offer some form of emotional resolution. But with this King of Cups, I don't particularly like him. I mean, I really like him in this deck. There's, as I've said in a couple of other readings, it's the Mystic Mondays deck. And I like using them every now and again because there's a wonderful purity with them. But he just seems all special effects, all smoke and mirrors, you know. He's not just rising up out of the ocean, he's rising out of the ocean at the back of a stage under a spotlight with a smoke machine going, and he's probably one of the creatures out of They Live anyway. Just, you know, airs positive for you, eh? Right, let's have a look at Anubis is bringing you everything that you actually need at the moment. So you don't need to be chasing after whatever. I mean, with this gifts from Perseus, it really does feel like a material object. Maybe it's a promotion, or maybe it's some form of honorific, or yeah, no, I'm going to stick with a material thing, a promotion or an honorific. I can't think of anything else that it would be. But you already have everything that you need. And by sticking to your own personal truth and not being pulled along by somebody else's agenda, as shown by the Four of Cups here, because that doesn't necessarily feel like the hand of God presenting that cup there. It more feels like, you know, some sort of hologram message being sent, you know, sort of, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. But not as positive as that one. But with the Princess of Pentacles here, clarifying Artemis with the individuation, keep your focus on your own development. You have an opportunity here to level up. The God cards already imply that. So, there is a new dream, Ace of Cups with Chang'e, that can actually fill your time in the meantime and fill your direction, your heart, your I mean, definitely time and definitely direction, and emotions to a great extent, because let's face it, we all need something like that at the moment. And the illumination that you gain from it actually puts something to rest for you. Now, that's a really interesting point, because I'm wondering if this temptation up here, certainly with the sirens being, you know, all with a focus, or rather a loss of focus, and the sirens with the temptation, is there something that you may have been trying to distract yourself from? And I don't necessarily mean in your day-to-day life, and I don't necessarily mean in your entire history. It could be one or the other. Do you know what I mean? Like some emotional thing that the full moon in Libra is going, hey, it's time to seek balance. Have a look at this issue that you've only been carrying for the last 37 years. And you're like, I will not. Because all of a sudden, you're a 7-year-old child again the moment that you think about it. Or whatever it is. You know, could be something like that. Could be just something going on in your day-to-day life. If you... This is lovely, right? So if you go with the take the new dream, get the illumination, put the torment to rest, and open the doors up for whatever this awakening is, you have victory. 6 of Wands. So, you have everything that you need at the moment. You don't need to be chasing after anything more. By remaining true to yourself, and going after your dreams, not some carrot on a string that somebody's dangling in front of you, you get to have a dream that makes you feel really good, a dream that is worth it, that gives you the emotional satisfaction, brings information to you that puts some old past spectre to rest, and you have victory with your awakening. Or you can use the energy of Lilith and keep rebelling. Before there's loads of comments down below, I know that Lilith is not necessarily just about that, but she's on that archontic row. So I am seeing the more negative aspects of all of these gods on the top. But on the bottom of the Oracle of Heaven and Hell card is person, libertines and renegades, fighting against what precisely? I've seen so much nonsense on the TV recently with people, certainly coming out of America, where people say, I will not be locked in, it is my freedom, my liberty. Okay, but don't be stupid. As simple as that. Don't be stupid. Look after you and look after yours. I'm not saying that that's just about this. But that does show in this reading, and similar things. There may be something that you're wanting to rebel against, and that this temptation is pulling you to rebel against it. There may be better ways. Rather than rebel against it, fix it. That's a good title. Rather than rebel against it, fix it. So, and 10 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. So, there's happiness if you try the fixing way. Okay, so if this means anything to you, Libra, please do comment down below. It's your full moon and in your first house, meaning that you can be a leader here. So, lead by example. Your next readings will be the monthlies. Yeah, they're a week late already, but hey ho. You know, they're valid for when they're valid. If they're useful for you, great. I've given you the like, share and subscribe speech, so join the Facebook group to see when I post next videos, and see you later.